Let's begin with Apple the morning after it kicked off WWDC by unveiling what it calls Apple Intelligence to add AI features to its products. The company also bringing OpenAI's ChatGPT to some apps, including Siri. Despite those announcements, the stock did close down almost 2% in yesterday's session, although, Jim, I know Melius says don't be fooled by the sell-off.
Yeah, and I talked with Ben Argis, and he and I are pretty much agreed. I spent a lot of time talking to Tim Cook, CEO. And I think that what you have to do is you have to say, all right, if you put all these things together, tie them together, unless you own the Pro or the Pro Max 15, you're going to want to upgrade. And not on any individual one. I mean, do you want to have your own emojis? Of course we do. I send the emoji with the, sunglasses. I send to my kids all the time. Enough. Okay, I want to be a little more personalized. Like when your daughter graduates from high school, I want to be able to cap and gown, going to Venice, whatever.
Sure. Get more personalized emojis. I'm sure that's going to sell a lot more iPhones.
No, it's a pastiche, if not a mosaic of things.
Nice.
Right. And, you want to get to Vision Pro, and I know you don't. You get 3D pictures of people who may have passed away that you get to be with. That's kind of cool. I don't know. I'm looking. Maybe you probably think I'm reaching. But I
think that makes sense. Show me all pictures of me, Jim, and David out at night.
Yes.
Yes. It can do that.
I think that's terrific.
Us in the clubs?
Yeah. But hear me out. Like, let's say you're doing an interview with someone or you want to talk with someone. He listens. You can tell him, listen, I'm taping you, and then it spits out a transcript.
That would be very helpful.
I've seen the notes that you write, the secret notes you write from people I'm not allowed to talk about, and it's like, boom, this is it. So I think there's a lot of little things that add up to something that's incrementally revolutionary.
It's interesting you mentioned the secret notes I write, because privacy has always been an important component of sort of what they're bringing to consumers. You feel like that continues to be the case with what they introduced yesterday?
I think that there's an assessment that goes on among younger people, which is that no matter what, they sell your data. That's what they do. They sell your data. They say, listen, your data it will be left with you. That means they sell your data, typically to like bad guys who are hackers. But Apple doesn't do that. It's going to be residing on Apple, and I think that's a very big difference.
Some people say they're selling you down the river, I think is the phrase.
Those people are cynical. No, those are the people who said, and the Lilly Alzheimer's drug will definitely not pass. I mean, there are people who are wrong. I mean, this is like, they'd make a lot more money if they could sell your data. I mean, it would be great. Like, you do Siri, and, and you say, listen, wake me at 3:30, and they have, like, something that goes on at 3:30 that's a program, like CNBC UK.
Yeah. Or CNBC Europe or CNBC Asia.
Yeah, it would come on because you talk to CNBC, put on CNBC.
That said, you also made an important point, which is a lot of the compute power is going to reside in the device, I guess.
Yes.
I mean, which is, so what are we going to get, and are we going to get more unveils from Apple when they introduce the next device when it comes to AI?
Well, I think that it's pretty clear that it's not just going to be OpenAI. I think it's self-evident that it's going to be Gemini too. There won't be a situation where they're going to say, listen, we're not going to let anybody else do it.
This was, I was referring to the Elon Musk tweet where he calls this a security violation.
But Samsung, here we come.
It was interesting, B of A with a note on Alphabet on how stock closed higher yesterday because in their view, some of these partnership details were not as robust as expected.
Exactly, and that's why I think that, and Tim confirmed to me, listen, we're going to have many more announcements about who is going to be our partner when it comes to Apple Intelligence, which, David, I think is why, right when it was announced that they were going to go with OpenAI, Alphabet stock soared because they realized, well, it's not one or the other.
It's right. It's not. It leaves open the possibility.
But how about Elon? Is this bordering on petulance? Is it petulance?
It's typical for Elon.
But is it
him? I mean, he comes after you.
I guess so.
Yeah.
Hey, although it was great that he got community noted when he said Apple's not, quote, smart enough to build their own AI. Gemini is exactly what it is, their own AI.
Well, look, he's a little conceited. Do you think that he has enough? He says 90% of retail is going to vote for him. What do you think?
I think that for the compensation vote, which we're now 2 days away from, well, we're 2 days away from the annual meeting at Tesla, I think they're going to need a very large component of retail to both vote and vote in favor, given the institutional vote, when you count the index funds, which obviously are not unimportant, is not going to go his way. There's Elon continuing to sort of go on and talk about...
Right.
So, you know, if they used XAI, I guess he would have been happy with that. Maybe he's trying to pave the way for them to use XAI for something down the road.
I mean, maybe he loses the vote, he goes to XAI, and he, Then he deals with, what do you get, Ericsson?
The compensation vote?
No, Lucky G. That's LG.
I'm sure we're going to talk a lot about Tesla and that vote between now and Thursday. But yeah, the question, if they were to lose the vote on the compensation award that was voted on in 2018 but revoked by Delaware court, if they were to lose that, you raise interesting questions.
Right.
Would he do anything? Or would he just business as usual? It's not as though he doesn't have a lot of economics at stake here, Jim, to begin with, given his significant ownership already.
But he said over and over again that if he doesn't have a certain 25%, what's the point? That's not petulance, by the way. I don't understand. You have a contract. How could they revote the contract?
Yeah.
But what is that? What is that?
What is what?
You look at different things.
I do look at different things.
Oh, he follows Elon Musk on this.
I do follow Elon, as millions of other people do. I don't know. I haven't heard from him lately. I'd like to. If he wants to do an interview prior to the vote, I'm happy to do that with him as well.
There you go.
Yeah.
Open invitation?
Yeah, open
Always.
invitation.
He knows he has an open
AI
invitation.
How about, come on,
we'll only do it on the X platform.
Can we just go
That's
back to
his
Apple
rule.
for a sec?
Thank you. Well, you took us away from Apple just to make
By the way, Jim, you mentioned Vision Pro a moment ago. Piece in the Times today, can Apple salvage the Vision Pro? As Kevin Roos says, his sits on the shelf collecting dust.
Yeah, you know, I used to write obituaries for a living. And I did feel after reading the commentary that would have been one where I would have told people what home it's going to be at, and maybe if they want to, they can send well wishes to the family. I mean, it was horrible. I feel
it costs $3,500.
No, but it's going to go to China. It's going to go to a lot of other countries. I mean,
it's going to go there?
China, Hong Kong, Canada, France, UK. You can pre-order at the end of the month.
It still costs $3,500.
I'm not writing the obituary.
I know you're not. All of our viewers know how you feel about it. But it has been underutilized as a tool in the enterprise. To quote and
there was no Jensen Huang. There was no
Jim's
meeting with
feeling.
You know how everyone, like yesterday before I interviewed Enrique Lores from HP, he sent me the obligatory picture of him with Jensen Huang. You know, I mean, you have to. But there was no Jensen Huang there. You know that.
Yesterday.
Yeah. No Jensen Huang.
No.
No way.
You need a little Jensen. If you're going to do a presentation.
You've got to get right with Jensen.
Anything related to AI, Jensen's got to be around it.
No kidding.
Even if he's just dancing in the background.
Doesn't matter.
No.
By the way, B of A did note that NVIDIA broke the trend, traded higher on the X date of a split.
I could not believe
today
that.
goes to 150.
Yeah, frankly, there was nothing in that, but that's okay. My work has shown that over and over again, there's 3 days of churn. 3 days of churn where you say, oh, geez, what happened? I guess that's the top, because people are willing, David, to sell 3 out of 10. That's been the pattern.
All right, Jim, but here we are, day 2, so to speak, of the reaction.
Yeah.
You look at all the analysts who weigh in. Announcement of Apple Intelligence was a bit disappointing relative to expectations. That's UBS. Barclays sees no surprise in little incremental news after a strong stock performance leading up to it. Morgan Stanley event delivered slightly ahead of that firm's expectations. Announced Apple Intelligence, Wells Fargo said, as a platform-level intro could stimulate a significant iPhone upgrade cycle.
There it is.
It's hard, right?
No, look, I think everybody who has something below a 15 or below is thinking, well, you know what? Maybe it would be cool. I mean, let's say David were to go buy it, and he showed me a feature, something that I don't have, something like that. Then what would happen is that I would say, I got to get that. Well, how much does that cost? And you'll say, no, I got it free through T-Mobile. Mike Siebert. I did that because you know that there's a Comcast downgrade. I figured you'd be able to go and run with that.
Oh, I didn't even see that, Jim. And even if I had, it would be unknown.
Save it for the D.
Actually, I think we've been sufficiently critical of our parent company.
Save that for the 10.
I'm going to save that for the 11.